Open the November 17th, 2025 select board meeting. Still, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I'd like to add forest committee to the budget hearing.
All right.
Sign. That's the original. Oh, I'm scanning it today.
I have one dropping the speed limit on Route 15 to 25.
You have to deal with the state with that, not us. We have nothing to do with that.
If the board doesn't approve doing it, then the sheriff's department won't back us going to the state to do this. The reason is that the speed limit is speeders can go down through at 42 miles an hour and the state's attorney will not take the case. So you have to drop it to 25. So when they're at 40, they'll take the case to prosecute.
We'll bring it up for discussion under select board review. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll take a motion to approve the minutes of November 5th.
I'll make the motion.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Comments from the community?
Go on. On the town forest, does the board manage town forest or is it the committee?
Well, the committee kind of oversees it, but we have ultimate decision, I guess.
Just wondering, signage around like what the rules are and especially around making sure dogs.
Yeah, they're working on that.
Is the expectation that dogs are leashed out there? Do we have a leash law?
Yes. There is signage, rail trail head. You get onto it, it says all dogs must be leashed.
I get that's from like the rail trail, I'm thinking about the town forest, are we? They're gonna be some of the expectations and I'm curious if hunting is allowed out there.
Hunting is allowed on the right side, not on the school side.
Across the bridge, so.
Anything on this,
Yep.
the right side of going up East Elmwood Road, hunting's allowed.
I think just having the sign out there would be helpful. Just concerned about, more about the dogs being unleashed and running around, especially during bike season, because it's just a hazard at that point for people biking, so.
Has it been bothering you? Have that happened to you?
No, just on the preventative side,
Oh,
before it gets to something as well as it.
I've had to ask a few on the rail trail.
you make a note of that, Michelle, so we can let the committee know. I do know that they've been working on signage.
Dog should be leashed and then hunting is allowed signage.
Well, hunting's allowed on one side and not on the side. That states that in there. So they have a whole plan.
Yes.
I don't remember the dog part. Whether I addressed that. Anything else? Correspondence. We have October parole patrol report, which I will pass around. People to look at. We have about 25 the letters of agreement, we just, adopted a new, policy on delinquent taxes. That coincides with the state law, and so there's 25 delinquent taxpayers that, Belinda has written up letters of agreement. I don't know if you want to see them or not. And he received a, from a property owner, Shirley Aldridge. It's Sarah and Melody, Melody and Sarah Shirley Aldridge. Their tax bill says this is just wrong, so much run down and dilapidation everywhere in this town, create revenue. Hopefully we are with wastewater. And, this really isn't correspondence. I think the select board will need to look at, take a look at this. It's our, insurance renewal. When does this due? Yeah, it's kind of hard to deal with this in the, meeting. Are there certain questions other than looking at it that you have on the board?
We've all done the research, we just obviously need board approval. I think that's what I was told, that we need to have before.
So you confirm that, the solar panels need to be, insured?
They need to be insured, the roof does not, and I put the email there.
Right, so we're gonna add solar panels that are being, are they here yet?
No, they're coming next week.
Solar panels that'll be on the roof will be added to our insurance.
Also, if we get insulation board in, we will add that.
That, we have to insure that?
It's an improvement, I don't know, I'll have to find out. No.
Adding the athletic association container and contents. Well, the athletic association is not part of the town.
But they were a committee, I mean, we've gone over this, they're a committee.
No, but they have their own checking account, they have their own EIN number, the recreation committee is ours. Belongs to us. And we have jurisdiction over, but the athletic association doesn't. Because they have all this new stuff, is because it got flooded. But
But it wasn't it covered by the flooding insurance,
it was,
so that they were insured then
I don't know,
under the town, it was covered by our insurance.
I think that's further discussion. We'll have to see.
Those are the only things that I can think of.
Other than that, I mean,
The bridge is already on there.
if they wanted to fall under the town and we were overseeing their books like we do for the library, that would be one thing. In the flood, the fire department has a separate EIN number. They're a separate entity, the fire department. But they have insurance through VLCT, but their own policy, I guess. I don't know how that will work. Thinking out loud, sorry. So how does the board want to deal with this insurance that, you want to look at it and then we'll take a motion at the end of the meeting? Are you comfortable with what Michelle and Belinda did? We're basically adding the solar panels and we're looking into the Athletic Association.
We also have to add the new loan on the truck, the Viking, if we get it in time. This calendar year. It's 104,000 if Viking sticks to that.
Right, so as soon as you get it, you always add it on at any time. It wouldn't really go in this policy because that's just a set date.
I'd say that I trust them.
Okay. All right, so I'll take a motion to approve the updates to our annual insurance beginning January 2026.
I'll make the motion.
In a second,
I'll second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, so carried. 1-ton truck replacement proposal. Attached. Dylan.
Yes, Michelle, thank you for preparing this. I'll do my best to. So as everyone knows, we've had continuous problems with our current truck. It's been broke down basically since like March. In and out of the shops. We've had it back, I think, 2 or 3 weeks and it broke down again because. Since then. The use of it, what we use it for normally is like, it's kind of a utility vehicle. We use it for plowing the parking lots and the smaller roads. The dry hydrants for the fire department. We'll be using it for the town forest parking lot. Not out here. Pick up parts, go to Viking, to get plow parts, go to classes that we have once in a while, whatever. So solutions, we could buy a new used one, buy a new one, or keep working on the one that we have. I've got a quote from McGee for an F-450 and an F-250, and I also got one from the Mohawk Valley Ford like 2 months ago for an F-350 and an F-250 as well. I guess my opinion is the 450 is the best deal. It's more expensive, but it's all set up. It has a dump body. It's a heavier duty truck. Yeah.
When we talked a couple of months ago, when you had the other quotes, you were trying to take the dump body off from this truck, but you want the dump body now?
I was just gonna try and put something else on it that would pass inspection that wasn't all rotted out.
Okay. Like I said, I went by later that night, the dump body that was on it has a hole. It could be patched with a $10 piece of steel.
The floor in that thing is full of holes. The whole floor needs to be replated.
Okay.
It's full of holes.
$300 of steel then.
I don't know what a whole sheet of steel would cost.
Yeah, it's $300.
Okay.
Over the course of the last 2 years, we've spent roughly 14.5 on it. Figures to 200. We don't have information for prior to that, because part of the repair wasn't separated. And on a new one is 19.2 a year. And where did that other 12 grand come from?
You don't know.
Me too.
Well, we talked about the capital. That's the only possibility.
We need something. I don't care if it's a car. But we need something to go and set signs up with and stuff and put a strobe light on top of, so we don't get hit in our own rigs out on North Wolcott Road.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You need something. I just don't know how we're gonna do it in the middle of a fiscal year. I don't see a path that isn't repair the ton truck as it is.
Okay,
I'm 1/5, so
Mhm.
don't look to me. But that's where I stand. I don't see in the middle of a fiscal year how we're gonna come up with. I mean, 6 months worth of payments is 10 grand, 9 grand.
Well, are we talking about leasing it or buying it outright?
I guess that's up to us.
Well, it's a different discussion, I guess.
Yeah, I don't love the concept of using capital funds for a truck. I would prefer to see us take a payment on it. And roll it into our replacement schedule the way we're doing everything else. In a perfect world, the ton truck would be back. And part of your budget presentation that's coming would have another 19.2 built into it to make a truck payment.
Well, that would be built into it, but it's like, huge. And then I get these letters from people, taxes. Man, so we're buying other new truck that gets added onto that equipment schedule.
And we're already banking truck 18 to go 2 years longer than the other trucks that we've made in order for that to roll into the replacement schedule in the place that it's supposed to. And as we know, buying new equipment does not necessarily decrease our repair budget. So again, I ask, where does that 19 come from? I mean, I've poured through the budget, but I've also just tonight gotten the actuals. Greater tires, you didn't buy greater tires, so in the short term, we could find 7 grand there, but that doesn't help us in July. Because you're still gonna need greater tires.
Are we selling any of our equipment or do we anticipate anybody wanting any of this stuff when, you know?
yeah, I'm sure we can sell
Huh?
it.
Charlie Boys just came and Charlie Boys just came yesterday to give us a trade-in value. They're working on it now for the big tandem. But we can't get rid of the Joey's tandem when we get the new one unless we know what we're gonna do here because we'll need it to pull.
I just wanted to, do you have any ball figure on what they'd give us?
I don't know.
Not really. No, I wouldn't dare to guess.
That's why I called them to give us a value.
You know, that we could put towards part of it,
Yeah,
borrow it out of the capital fund and replace it with the sale of the vehicles.
Do you think maybe at least 20? We kind of said maybe at least 20.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what we got for the old one. 25 or something.
Back then,
Yeah.
like 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they in comparable shape?
I think this one's in better shape than that one was.
I mean, we're still only spending on average 7 grand a year on that ton truck. We could theoretically,
Well, we need to bring in somebody that knows we can fix that. Yeah. I'm not driving my truck anymore. I can't. I'm 3,000 miles over my lease miles.
and you shouldn't have to, and none of you guys should have to. We should provide you with a truck or with something.
We haven't had nothing for 8 months.
Part of the problem with that is that it sat in a field at Collinsville because we didn't have the money to repair it.
Yeah.
There was other mechanics on offer that would have repaired it and held bill until the new fiscal year for us. So part of that 8-month breakdown, it's kind of unfair to say that the truck's been dead for 8 months. It sat with no one looking at it for 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took 2 months to get it fixed and it ran for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That repair, in my opinion, is inadequate. So it's a little bit unfair the way that it's presented as an 8-month failure on the truck.
I wouldn't say it's an 8-month failure on the truck, but it's 8-month absence.
It's 8 months that you have had to go above,
That's all.
you and Joey have had to go above and well, and for a while, Chan and now Jim have had to go above and beyond. It's 8 months that we owe you. We should show you some appreciation for that. But when it comes to the calculation of buying a new truck, that 8 months really shouldn't figure.
Okay.
So what's your recommendation?
My recommendation, find somebody who can fix the truck. I don't see how we can absorb unless the board is willing to use capital funds. You know, when the tandem sells, we can discuss it. When the new budget comes, we can discuss it. But unless we're going to use capital funds, I don't know how we're going to buy a new truck.
Do you have anybody in mind who we could bring it to?
I've got a lot of faith in where it is now. I didn't realize that he said he was incapable. My understanding was that we found out what he spent on it so far with no outcome, and we've asked him to stop until we could have this talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's got to be somebody out there that can fix it. That truck's not scrap price.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Where is it?
Tim's Diesel in Orleans.
We know what it would cost to install a new wiring harness?
Not a clue. Wouldn't even dare guess. The problem is, no matter what we do, short of driving to McGee and driving that 450 home, we still have a short-term problem to solve, right?
Mhm.
I do.
So we've got two decisions to make. We've got to figure out what we're going to do. We also have to figure out what the short-term solution is. Who's going to plow these parking lots while it's too soft to put a loader on them? And what are you guys going to do for transport in the short term? We got to rent you a car, you know?
Yeah.
You can run my dump truck if you want. You think the Dodge is rough.
It runs. I was walking. Yeah.
Well, when will we know that this guy's, is he looking at it? Is he working on it? What's he doing?
I think he's been working on it, and then we asked him to pause until we could tap this out.
Asked him to pause. I called him Tuesday, he had 19 hours in it. And I said to stop until, well, we called him Monday and said to stop until we got to see. 19 minutes, he has 2,200 in it, and if there's no closer to figuring it out. What's a new freeze now or something? What did he put in it? A freeze something? Freeze?
Body control monitor?
No, that was the other one. He put something new in for 250.
No, I can't, I don't know. I
They
can't.
have it up at the top of that sheet.
That's for the board.
I know one thing, that just the electrical cable complete, by the time they're done, gonna be pushing 6,000. I would almost estimate 2,000 just to buy it. You know, take at least 3 or 4 days to install it.
So the totals as of today, what we've spent on that ton truck is 2792 plus about 2,200 that we haven't been billed. So we're looking at, what's that figure, 247, 49, almost $5,000 in it. If you put another 6, 7, put another 10 in it, we're still less than a year's worth of lease payments. And aside from its current electrical problem, the $7,000 from the 2 years prior is DEF problems because it does short trips and whatever. You know, we're still, in my opinion, we're still further ahead, and it lets us kick this can a little bit further down.
I agree with all that, as long as I can have the time.
Yeah. And again, brings us to the second part of the question. What's the short-term solution? How do we plow the parking lots and get you guys to run around? That one to me seems more important than, because we got to solve that either way.
Agree.
Okay, so what? You hire someone to plow?
Short-term solution, if we get another storm, I would say we're gonna have to go back to the way we were before, and we'll have to contract parking lots until we get our ton truck back. We work out a compensation plan. The guys where they'll run their own. Would any of you guys be amenable to doing something like that until we got a truck back?
What?
I don't know, trying to make a deal with us where you would let us use your truck the way we have been.
I cannot use my truck anymore. It is a lease and I am 3,000 miles over my lease miles.
And there's no dollar amount that we could offer you that would, is what I'm trying to say. There's no compensation.
Should be, I don't know what the penalty would be for me going over my miles. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, the answer is no.
And the other fear that I have for that is insurance.
Yeah.
If we're using my truck out on North Wolcott Road, and somebody rear ends me.
Yeah.
Or I go off the end of the ditch and smash my truck, what then?
Yeah, again, just asking a question if.
No.
Yeah, if the answer is no, then we're back to.
The answer hasn't been no until now. I've been doing it.
I understand. Yeah, for 8 years you've been doing it. It hasn't just been this lease, it's been all the leases.
Yes.
So it's run tandems or find a $200 car, you know?
Okay.
I mean, anybody else have any?
Well, I think I would rather buy something. I think it's a waste of good money. It's, a solution we can't figure out. I mean, there's too many problems. No, we don't have the money. No, I don't like to spend money. I mean, how long would you do a lease for anyway with a truck like that?
You least you would do it for 7 years, because that's what we can, if you were to purchase outright, you'd have to do it for under 5. If you were to take a loan, if you don't need a town vote. That's it.
Yeah, it has to be under 5 without a town vote, yeah. Or a 7-year lease.
And would you want to get the 450, or Michael, you were saying a 550?
If we're talking about purchasing something, I'd like to see us buy a heavier truck, but. Well, that's just me. My opinions, while I think quite highly of them, don't carry as much weight as Dylan's. If you think a 450 is it.
I couldn't find a 550. I asked for a quote on a 550 and he told me he didn't have one available or whatever. And he said, I've got this 450. I'd like to quote you. So I said, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love the 550.
And if we're talking about dipping into capital funds, my opinion, we should buy something that's gonna do it. The size difference between a 450 and a 550, as far as the physical dimensions, they're the same truck.
Yes.
550 does more.
Yes.
You can put the chloride tank directly in the back of it and eliminate that trailer that you hate.
I think we could do that with a 450.
Can you really?
Well, we did it with the 1 ton.
Really? You had to
You can't fill the tank all the way up,
Let's see.
but you can put it in there.
Okay. What are your thoughts on, I mean, I don't know what the plow spec wasn't in the last.
I don't know all the details on the plow. I just asked them to quote me for whatever they put on for a plow. I don't know what size, like 10-foot V or whatever they are.
Yeah. Would you be, my opinion is we should buy a highway plow with a wing on it. Do you think that's ridiculous?
No, I think that's a fantastic idea, but that puts us in the situation of Viking schedule, and I expect that's a 2-year It'd take 2 years for them to do it.
If we buy through Viking, but they're not the only game in town. I mean, they're the only one in Vermont, but
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Other vendors, I'm unsure.
I mean, if it's the board's pleasure to buy a truck, then buy a truck, Dylan.
Well, it's just mine. I don't know what their opinion is, but I was thinking of just maybe taking, like a year's lease, a payment out, you know, if you look at the schedule, it's pretty heavy in 26, 27. Wow, it's pretty heavy, isn't it? 26 and 27.
Yeah.
You know, two years of payments and then put it on the equipment schedule and things. When the excavator's paid off.
So you're saying refinance in a couple of years?
No, I just mean take a lease for 7 years,
Oh,
but instead of using taxpayer money, you take that payment
I see.
out of the. Don't take the whole thing, but that payment out of the
Yeah,
reserve fund
it's
and
19.
then throw it into the next.
Yeah, it's 19 to a year. Well, that's at 6 years, but 19 to a year. So for the 2 years, we're talking 38,000 out of the capital fund.
Are you quoting this to the 550 or?
The numbers we had was the 450 out of 6 years, 19 to. If we went 550 and could stretch it to 7, I would assume it would be similar-ish. You know, and then there is the concept of we are going to get some money for the tandem, some dollar amount,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to get some dollar amount for the ton truck.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we've created a third question. Do we continue the repairs on the ton truck so that it's worth something when we sell it? Or are you going to sell it for literally scrap weight?
I don't know.
Are you gonna get out what you put into it though? That's the question. If you sink money into fixing it, are you gonna get out of it when you finally sell it?
That's the premise I have about the entire thing, is that it's worth putting the money into. That's one of the reasons I don't want to spend money on a new truck, is because I believe it's worth the investment.
I don't disagree that it's worth the investment. But its absence is my problem.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good shape. It depends on what you get. The 450 that we get quoted here is available, just need to have the plow installed. And then like a 250, you just go buy one tomorrow. Guess it's going to depend, if you want to repair it, what time can this guy get it fixed?
I don't have a crystal ball. I left it in my other pair of pants.
I don't have one, so.
Have any thoughts of, Alan?
Think of anything additional, it's like everyone's gone over all the options that we can come up with.
There is also the option of looking into a used one.
Trading our headache for somebody else's headache.
Well, it's kind of the roll of the dice.
Have you found?
No, I haven't looked.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to the board about it.
I mean, because you, trying to summarize for me, you think that the Dodge is currently worth the investment, but we got to do something. We got to do something now because you can't survive the winter without it.
Right.
Okay. So buying a used one, as long as you could find one, drive up there and handle a fistful of $100 bills, that would cure all the problems, except for we still own a broken Dodge, but we can figure that out later.
Larry found two used ones, one for 15,000, one for 17. The bids already run out, but they're there. One was um, Ford 350 2019 for 15,000. It's got the plow on it.
Single rear wheel pickup box or dump body? Sorry, Joe. Single rear wheel pickup box for both of them. Well, that's just a regular cab long box pickup. Which would solve the immediate problem,
Right.
but it's not. Long term, it's something that's not gonna work for you. You can't chloride with that.
Right.
You can't plow roads with that.
Well, I'll go either way, but I just don't see, time is slipping by and it needs to, need to make a decision soon. Looks like it's gonna be a snowy winter, cold and long.
Yeah.
Can't just keep kicking the can down the road.
My opinion is we tell Tim that he needs to make it a priority, or we gotta find somebody else that can. And in the short term, we've got to contract snow removal for parking lots. And anything else that your tandems can't do without destroying stuff. And you guys are gonna have to work out of the tandems. I mean, cause I used to have a fleet of used trucks that I would just throw you the keys to, but I'm down to that junk ton truck in my silver pickup, so I can't help you. As a board member, I would be willing to entertain some kind of compensation package that allows one of you to run your trucks. Put it on the insurance, do all the paperwork we'd have to do to make that right until we get our ton truck back, but that's what I would like to see happen. But that's just me.
You got any interest in that, Jim? I would do it if I had owned my truck, but
I understand.
I'll have to take a look at the proposal.
I have no idea what it's worth, so you'll have to tell us.
Is
I
it
give it
allowed for us to
3,000.
borrow the truck?
Just to use the truck, we're gonna have to find a contractor that will do parking lots in the short
Does
term.
Larry do any plowing on his own?
He said he would plow with the loader.
And that'll work as soon as the ground is frozen, but we're gonna tear stuff up.
But he doesn't have a plow in his truck.
I said, I'll have to see. When I asked him that, he's like, he said, I'll just, I don't think he wanted to drive his truck here every day because he lives in,
Woodbury.
Woodbury.
Can we just contract with Gravels for temporary until we get this,
Fill it for me.
or whoever, I don't care who, doesn't matter.
What's the cost associated with contracting it?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Depending on the duration.
75 to 100 per lot.
Do we need this one, obviously, but
And this one, and you guys were mentioning and then the smaller roads you can do on your own, Dylan.
Yeah, we can get all the small roads with that way.
And then dry hydrants were mentioned, and then the forest parking lot was mentioned, so.
$400 a storm, $500 a storm.
So how about the big parking lot downtown?
Over here,
Yeah.
we do that with the 10-minute.
Okay. You can get up close to the town hall with that, right?
No,
No,
the town.
not the town hall.
The town hall and the park and the offices right now. I don't know about forest, will we include that or?
I think it would depend a lot on the storm. And that parking lot's gravel, right?
Yeah,
So we could have used that with a loader and fix it in the spring.
is that Morris?
Yeah. Any gravel parking lot. I just don't want to see the loader out here until things are froze, because when you guys move snow that time, it sunk in on the corners here.
You guys plow your own parking lot over there at the garage?
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, if everyone agrees, just so I have the notes. If we proceed, we're gonna let Tim know to start fixing it, even if it, or I should probably get a cost estimate. Is there a dollar amount that we don't want to exceed?
Well, he doesn't know what's wrong, so we can't give you an estimate. What I heard Michael say was, tell him to get on it ASAP.
Get us an answer.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be, like he said, he has 19 hours and if he can't find it, so ASAP means,
But you called and told him to stop.
yeah, on Tuesday, on Monday, it says,
So
yeah.
we're asking him to start ASAP if he can. And if he says, no, I can't fix it, I think that we should call a special meeting and not put it off for 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not coming the day before Thanksgiving, but if if we have some more information that we can vote on, I think we should call a special meeting for half an hour to make a decision.
Yeah. As far as diagnostic costs, it would be cool to stop before it got to $5,000 in diagnostic. But I mean,
Another $5,000?
five total, so 22 that's unbilled plus another 28. But again, you know, to me, because we got the truck with no capital investment, we got the truck from an insurance claim in 2016. And we're averaging $8,000 a year on it. We've still got $10,000 a year in I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say here, but to me, it's worth a great deal of investment to keep the truck to try and stop us from buying a $90,000. Or if we go with a $550,000 or $125,000 truck. Until it fits a little bit more nicely in our budget.
When will it fit nicer in the budget?
Well, whenever you present us a budget that has that line item in it, so I would start with next year.
Will you approve it?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
My gut tells me no.
Guess my question is, the $15,000 used one, would you be able to make it through this year using that?
I would hope so.
I mean, I don't know, that was just, that one's no longer listed, but that's just from auctions.com. They have,
Right, but I'm just saying, if we could find a used one.
I would think that that would be a good way to buy time. That's all it would do.
Why don't we do that? Look for something that's around 15,000. So they can plow the lots, because you're gonna talk for $500. And I ran into this issue with them plowing my yard. It was $75 a pop.
If we buy a $15,000 truck and Tim can fix it in 2 weeks, now we're stuck with a $15,000 truck.
Yes, but you're saying you're gonna sell it anyway. One or the other. Right now, they gotta have something. They can't just. I mean, when I was looking at having my yard plowed at $75 a pop, 1 year it was 18 times. The next year I went and got a snow blower because it was so much cheaper.
But again, I mean, if we're gonna be without a truck all winter, this is a different conversation. We
Right.
don't know how long we're gonna be without a truck.
That's the problem. If this guy can't solve it and then you're shipping it to someone else and he's gonna start at scratch again. So there's another 5,000. Now you got 10,000. My thing is, if you keep going, hopping around, you're gonna have 15,000 into people looking at it and it's still not fixed. It's better to get something now and have a sure thing, hopefully,
Right.
because it's gonna cost you that by the time you get done with the winter. You could be another 5,000-6,000 just plowing. I just think if you can buy something within the next 4 days for 15,000 with a plow.
I don't know if that's gonna happen on auctions. I've never dealt with auctions.com, but they
Jim
go
has a
up,
little bit.
they go up for bid and then you have to go get them. They're not in Vermont, so they're in New York or. So just, I don't know if it's gonna happen in 4 days, especially over the holidays. It can happen, but.
But you got dealers too. You got dealers throughout the state.
Yeah, I'm sure, or private sales too.
Or private sales even, yeah. I mean, you can go on Craigslist.
Mhm.
You can find all sorts of vehicles on Craigslist. I just feel let's take forward, to have this guy look at it up to the 5,000, but let's look at another rig for the next. Till Thanksgiving and see what happens.
So do you know what to do?
Do I know what to do? No.
Either do I.
I don't either.
Sounds like it wouldn't hurt to have anything, have something else smaller anyways, if you gotta run around and do
agree.
stuff.
Great.
Even if it's something where next year or whatever, you can go take a look at the options of what to do with it.
Mhm.
We have a range, 15 to 20, or just 15, are we, is 15 in the cap?
Well, Michael, what do you think?
I don't see any value in buying a 3/4 ton pickup. And you're not gonna buy anything but a 3/4 ton pickup for 15 grand. Anything we buy is gonna have inspection issues. It's gonna, I mean, I just don't see the value in purchasing. If we're gonna buy something, let's buy something.
Okay.
Is where I sit on it. If we're gonna purchase it, stop screwing around with this in the middle right now, solving a problem stuff. Let's buy the truck.
You're gonna get the funds out of the capital.
But let's not forget here, I don't wanna buy the truck.
I want to buy the truck.
Linda wants to buy the
Because
truck.
I think we're wasting all our money everywhere and we're wasting our time. You know,
We are.
that's how I feel.
For 45 minutes.
Not that time, I mean, Dylan's time and waiting here and waiting there and we're just.
Yeah.
I just think we're just wasting time.
Good question.
Money.
Question is how long, if we do go buy it, how long will it take to be in it? That'd be the
That was
other
my
question.
next question, yeah.
I don't know exactly. I wouldn't think it would take you long.
450, are we talking at 450?
Yeah.
It's ready, I mean, when I talked to him, it's still there, I talked to him yesterday, and it's still there.
I don't know if the plow's hooked up or if they need to hook the plow. But I don't know if that would take a couple days, maybe. Or something.
He wanted me to find out if the plow is cheaper somewhere else too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we can check with Gravels
Yeah.
to see if they might have a little bit cheaper on plow.
They inspect equipment or is it all a commercial parking lot?
Oh, I haven't even looked up.
And so to be clear, now we're talking about buying the 450 that's available, not ordering a 550 with a weigh.
Could I say
We need to know, we need to know that.
Could I say
My snowboard. Hey, you know, we can't motion to approve anything unless we know. So what does the board do? What does the board want to do? I want to put money into the Dodge. I don't want to buy anything. If I have to buy something, I want us to buy a 550 because it's the truck for the job. That's my opinion. Let's go around the room.
Could I say something?
Trucks, and I think we're wasting our money and we should just buy something. Oh, well. We're going around the room here.
I can see, buying something, but I could also see. What also figuring out what the diagnostic cost is gonna be. Just for the resale eventually, if we want to sell it.
Mhm.
He can't give us a cost because he doesn't know what's wrong, I mean, that's just.
Or at least if he tries to figure out what it is, up to the limit we wanted. It's worth the money to at least figure that out if you do wanna sell it. Cause if not, if it's gonna be way more than that, then. You can just go down the road with it, but if it is worth it, you know it. But right now, I don't kinda know that. But if we need to get something, what question is the cost gonna be and how long it'll take to get the big thing?
Mhm.
So you're saying do that and purchase another truck?
It's not a bad idea to see what, if it actually is fixable or not, and how much it's gonna be. Within reason, know what I mean?
And do that before we do anything? Is that what you're saying?
It wouldn't hurt to do that
I think I'd go along with Alan's idea.
So he hasn't billed us for the 19 hours yet,
No,
so that's over and above the money we've already
yeah,
spent.
it's, we spent almost five, roughly five that I could see on
Was he
this.
charging an hour?
At 19 hours and so it was, he had 20 minus roughly 100 an hour.
I just found, I don't know if it's still here, but I just found a 2024 F-550 with 11 miles on it. Gas job for 69,569.
Is that completely built out?
No, we would need to put a plow on it.
And where is that?
Norwood, Massachusetts, 177 miles away. You hear that?
No, I didn't. Will you repeat it?
2024 F-550 gas job, dump truck, needs a plow package, 69,569 in Norwood, Mass,
Was it up body on it?
with a dump body on it.
So,
No idea if it's available, don't know anything about it, just autotrader.com.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't have a date when it's listed.
He's holding.
so who has their hands up?
Monica did it.
Oh. Monica, did you have a comment?
No, I think he just hit on what I was going to say. If you look in Massachusetts, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck because it's not all rusty.
Well, and this one here has only got 11 miles on it. It must be a holdover. I don't see a listing date, Michelle. You know, and again, it's a 7.3 gas.
That's what this 450 is.
It's a pretty drop.
So you said that was a 550
550
in where?
Norwood, Mass. It's at Jack Madden Ford.
That's for 69K, basically
Ballpark, yeah.
with body, but no plow. Road Mass, I'm sorry, what was it, Ford?
Jack Madden.
Do you think we could do a little, should we do a little bit more research and maybe try to, if we come back together on Monday? Or is everyone, I mean,
I could work overtime, but I'm here until, just here tomorrow, part-time. But,
Monday,
oh, you mean Monday evening?
you can Zoom.
Say, I'm still in town.
No, I'll be here Monday, I just didn't know if I could get it all done.
Oh,
I will not be here. I just remembered.
well, then if we were to take a vote right now, we'd have, I guess, Alan and Kurt, you're in the same boat, I guess. Sounds like majority wants to continue to look for fixing it. I don't know what the solution for the other stuff is in the meantime.
It wouldn't hurt to look at some of the this window shop the other used options that we're looking at it either. That we could get either, so
Are they used or new?
used, if you can get a decent used one. If we can come up with some good used ones that are an option.
Okay, we have lots of people waiting. We need to make a decision and, either come back or make a decision. Whatever the board wants to do.
I make a motion, come back Monday at 6 with more information and make a determination what to do then.
Back to one that meeting.
Oh, I'll second.
Those in favor?
I do have one more piece of discussion though, if I can. In the interim, can we have a conversation with Tim about I mean, just ask him the impossible question, does he think that he is close to a solution?
I did. I did.
Until Monday, are we gonna allow him to continue doing diagnostic? Is that all right with you, Kurt? This is your motion, I told you, but so.
I'm fair.
So I add that amend the motion. You just want me to do
It's
this.
just part of what needs to be pulled together for Monday. Sorry, we don't have the answer for you, Dylan. We'll figure it out,
Sounds good.
okay? Okay, we're gonna move on to the fire department budget, presented it already?
We're proposing to keep it the same as last year.
Okay, that's very nice of you.
The only one thing that thorn in everybody's side is truck maintenance. We ended up spending a little more money. We're gonna have that, you know, trucks are getting older, minus our engine one. But we have, our rescue was donated to us from Morrisville Rescue, so it was nice of them to do that, and we haven't had to put hardly any money into that, so. It sounds like the town is going on with their truck. Truck maintenance is starting to creep up there, but we are saving for something in the future as part of our budget.
Mhm.
Yeah, other than small ups and downs, we're running about the same though.
How's your membership?
We're good.
Good. Or have any questions for the fire department? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Emergency management.
That's a couple of times about actually creating more within the budget for management. Just around trying to put us in a better position for, you know, we have after disaster like we've seen over the last couple of years. Being able to actually kind of meet some of the needs that we have in the town. So Communication has been an ongoing concern, and the ability to communicate, especially out further reaches of Wolcott, is not self-service, but not at all. And I know the fire department had put a mobile Starlink device on one of their trucks, which provides them basically a Wi-Fi hotspot to provide calls to do, and looking to add a second one that we would do through the emergency management budget. That's what the initial cost of the unit itself is the 228 at the one-time purchase, and then the monthly fee is $50 a month. And so by having two of the rigs outfitted, that gives us a lot of flexibility across the entire town to have multiple spots set up that people can then use. Especially to go over radio, just providing us that flexibility and means during if lines are down or self-service is down, we still that you be with there.
Would be on the fire trucks.
It would be on one of their fire trucks. Okay. And then because we now have the school as our main shelter site, it's got a generator power, it's got a kitchen, doesn't have a shower, but it meets a lot of our other needs. Except we don't have anything to actually stock it with to actually have people stay there. So cots. So I added a line item for 8 cots and 8 blankets to go along with that. My hope is that eventually we can find a grant to purchase a storage trailer that we could then have based up at the school. So all the supplies related to the emergency management would be right in there. Available if we need to open the shelter. So these are kind of like initial costs just to get us into a position that makes us more viable when we actually have an emergency going on. And then the last item was starting to create an emergency / disaster fund that we would try to add to each year. I'm not sure the mechanism for that, if it has to come out of a certain funding area, like reserve funds that are left over from one year to the next. But it would be nice to start accumulating in that, so that if we have expenses that occur during a disaster, that we already have that money set aside. We're not trying to figure out where it's coming from. We don't always know what reimbursements going to look like at this point, the federal government. So having some level of funding built in that we can then use if we have to buy food or we have to do something to extra supplies. If we have our shelter open, just to have that cushion feels like it would be putting us in a better position.
So a revolving fund or a reserve fund would have to be approved by the voters.
Yep.
Or that money each year will just has to go back and it gets lost.
I can see that as a question for town meeting day.
But 2,000 seems a lot. What would you do with it?
You may not need to use it at all for a period of time, but it's having it so if you have to buy materials for your shelter, like you have to buy food for a number of people over a course of a week, you could easily eat up food on that and money on that end. Or just other, need to buy materials that the highway needs. They need extra sign packages or something because I don't know, just think the fact that we've just been kind of operating in the hopes that we get reimbursed down the road is fine. I'm just a little worried about that process. I think having some funds available that allow us to utilize during an emergency situation, so it's not coming out of the town budget and therefore impacting your guys' overall budget.
I did ask Michelle if she would look into some grants for the cots, blankets, emergency blankets.
I think there's $1,000 passive grant for emergency stuff. I just got it today. It's looking for by 4. Pardon? I the fire department for grants to get a 4x4 to work on the trails. And they for grants pretty much. And I came across VLCT and passed a couple of grants that were nominal, like $1,000, but they might qualify for that.
This is just the starting point of the conversation. So
Yeah. Good points.
The communication piece is really the part I'm most concerned about.
Me too.
That's why we added, and also added in that $500 for the, adding on the landlines that we discussed now, so that you have the ability, when you send out those text messages, it also goes out in a voice message to those who have landlines. We're really kind of a dark hole of communication when things go poorly around here. So the more means we have to get messages out, the better we're gonna be served, so. You know, if we have to cut things, I understand that. I would like us to shy away from cutting the communications end of this, though.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I actually sent Michelle something today from, and you probably get it from that Eric Foreman. And he's having I don't know what he's having, a virtual event on, communicating, which I think is important. I think it's especially for Wolcott where we sit without a lot of cell coverage.
The thing with landline is that, Fidium has told me for anyone who qualifies and has service in their area, they are automatically rolling their landline over to voice over, which is down then if you don't have a generator or, you know, they're automatically doing that, but not all Wolcott is served with that yet. And the other thing with landlines is we do have to then collect phone numbers, and we haven't been successful in the past getting landline numbers or emails when we ask people to voluntarily sign up for that. So that would have to be a huge effort.
Yep, but I think if we have the at least have the funds to be able to follow that through, if we can go through that step, then we're in a better position. Yeah, it may not be perfect, but it needs.
Consolidated, service, how well it works, depends where you are. What's best when the phone box battery runs out? Says, I don't know, they have a UPS in them.
Okay. Corey, do you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, all right.
That's just that it's a.
Just send me a email. She's not gonna be able to stay with us, the brownfields, can we move on to the library?
Double funding this year also, so we have the emergency. I'll just put it down 2703, not the it's running, thanks, Jeff.
No, he's asking for it all, but, it's a discussion to be had. That's the budget he's been. We'll probably cut a part of it out for a warrant article.
Yeah, if you can secure supplies through a grant, then that's a no-brainer, go for it.
Yeah, I'd say if we can get a grant for the supplies, communications make sense to have in there.
Looks good to me. Do we have any other, any board questions or comments in the library? Things going.
Good. We're hoping that maybe the consolidated home and internet budget next year will be less, because I hear it's gonna be less once we go to fitting, so.
It's coming in at 119 right now.
Yeah, which is like $100 less.
And that includes all the equipment that you need. I'll bring that up later, but so the voice over and the plug the phone in and use the same stuff. Not to say that I'm sure once they get us all fulfilled.
Maybe mine hasn't not yet.
Yeah.
Still a lot, isn't it?
200,000.
220, wow.
I just want to say thank you to the library for everything it's doing. They're really maximizing their funds. You know, I'm getting so many. Good. Yes, thank you. Right, did you just talk, Michelle, about your budget? I'm sorry.
So you don't really have a budget, I thought we decided, we never really had you,
So last year, what I did for admin, this is select board, what's kind of benefits my functions, so that's kind of what I did last year, so I did that. It's, and your salaries, the select board salaries are over there.
was the whole budget in there?
We have right here, we have in front of you. I gave you a handout. Yes.
Sorry.
I didn't increase scribe because I don't want you to even, like last year, I think it was an automatic raise. It's not necessary. I included a 3% increase on the salary, but you do what you will. The legal services, it's down at 2,500. We haven't touched it. The $250 for the annual picnic, we still have a balance of $106 from last year because we did receive, I think, the $450, $500 grants.
Yeah, but the picnic costs,
It is expensive.
I mean, that won't even pay for music.
So do you increase that? Well, I'll probably.
No, I don't want to increase it. I think
But
that-
so we'll keep that.
Yeah,
You asked me to add training, but I still am not clear. We haven't touched miscellaneous and I don't know what it's for. So I was thinking I added training in there, but maybe that 2,200 covers training as well under miscellaneous. But you said it's dedicated for.
it's miscellaneous things that come up if someone happens to die or someone in, the immediate employees would send flowers. With gifts for the employees.
Okay. So then really the new thing that I added was the select board and assistant training for 200. Oh, and I increased by $50 the newspaper notices because they cost $110.
Okay, we can. Then we go over the budget when everything's put together. Anyone else have any questions?
Gordon?
Yeah, Gordon?
Oh, there you are.
Gordon, do you want to present your budget?
You bet. Michelle, were you able to print copies to distribute? Okay, fantastic. I do have it on a computer, but let's see.
Share screen, Carla?
Do you want the screen? Oh, you know what? That is last year's. So I guess I better do a screen share. Yeah, hang on a sec. Let me just get it up here. Get the Okay. Share screen. Let's go with that. Okay. So for this year, for the last couple of years, we've requested a budget and it's been relatively small because we haven't actually had a forest to speak of. So we had some ideas about signage and publicity and events and so forth, and we've learned a few things about that. And now this year we do have a forest. We actually have property and we have some expenses that are associated with the property, and some plans for things that we'd like to do. So we changed things a little bit from where we were before. The last year I think we had a couple $1,000. We requested a couple $1,000 for speakers and public events, and in small amounts for publicity and website development. So we dropped our request, significantly reduced our request for any kind of speakers or public events, and instead and kind of in addition, I mean, we're asking for more money this year. There's some general maintenance that should happen, right? So essentially being able to get a mower to come around the parking area, and really the parking areas, the pull off into the bridge up by the western side of the Bedell property. And then would like to be able to keep the trails that are in the field on the western Bedell parcel, to keep those mowed, like essentially what we're thinking is a similar schedule to whoever mows the cemeteries. Would like to ideally have the same contractor who who mows their cemeteries, if they could add that to their schedule.
So the cemetery has their own contract. The town has a mowing contract for the town properties.
Okay. And I'll be honest,
Is
we
it
have
like
not.
just mowing, or is it brush hogging like?
So for the trails and parking areas, it would be mowing. And then we would like to have an annual cut of the field, which this year Dave Holden did as a volunteer. And I won't speak for him whether he's willing to continue or not, but I think we should have some budget to be able to do that maintenance. So $4,000 is a finger in the air estimate of what we think that should cover that. And then there's a handful of things. There's places where we would like to add more signs on top of what Sinuosity has already provided. There's places where just more signage would be helpful. So now I'm looking at the $5,000 line item we have on row 7. So signage is a thing. We'd like to replace the gate at the bridge on the Bedell parcel, something that can be perpetually open for small, for a narrow space for somebody to walk through or ride a bike through. So you don't have to open the gate to ride a bike, but is going to be closed to vehicles. In our last meeting, we discussed the possibility of having bollards, removable bollards, put at the end of the bridge, so that it would be easy enough to take them out, unlock them, and take them out. And Roger has tried to get estimates for a different kind of gate that would have a person gate as well as a vehicle gate. The fencing companies that he's contacted we haven't been able to get an estimate and really get good responsiveness from them. So, you know, what we don't, we're making a sort of order of magnitude guess as to how much that would be. Also in the same line item, there's one additional trail that we would like to build, which we think can be built with volunteer labor. But there's also the work of designing trails and looking for grants for trail building that we would like to have some budget available to be able to pay for consultation on the trail design and being able to have to be able to assure the easement holders that designs that we are contemplating have been reviewed by professionals to ensure that you know, we're taking proper care to go around wetland areas or other protected or sensitive sites. And finally, the project's underway right now. Luke Hart has been leading it up and working with folks from the state and I think also from the Wolcott County Planning Commission about obtaining grants for doing remediation on the logging roads on the Bourne parcel, which were left in a condition where they're heavily prone to erosion and it's not good for water quality in the river itself. This ultimately should be cost neutral for the town. There's money available from state. I think it's from state programs. I don't think it's federal programs to be able to do it. But it would be nice to be able to offer Luke some compensation for the time that he puts into it. So those are the things that we contemplate spending the $5,000 on line 7. So the whole of it comes to a total of 10.5.
We did have a request this evening for more signage from the emergency manager, spelling out which sides were for hunting and which sides weren't. And they also had a question about,
Dogs on leash.
yeah. They also had a question about whether dogs were allowed to be loose or had to be on leashes.
Yeah, so the
I couldn't remember if it was addressed in your report.
yeah, the original decision, which is in the stewardship plan, is dogs should remain on leash.
Okay.
Did he also request signage though for dogs on leash?
No. But how would anyone know? He didn't have a sign.
We do need to have signage printed and posted on the kiosk at the parking lot. So
Right.
one of the things that we've been talking about in the committee is details of text that goes on the sign, you know, on essentially maps and that signage. So that's in the works. We will be posting the rules on the kiosk.
Okay. We'll convey that to him.
Okay.
So will you get back to us when you have a better idea for the gate? Or is that
Yeah.
just what you're gonna put in? I heard you say you didn't really know what the mowing cost would be, or you weren't sure about the gate. I know.
Those are you know, estimates at this point. I
Right.
don't have quotes.
So we'll be, you know, we'll be working on this through the beginning to mid-January. If you get any more information, can you convey it back to us?
Sure,
Great.
absolutely.
Our mowing contract is up this year. We need to renegotiate it, so.
Yeah. Okay,
I would, if the mowing and the forest can be folded into another contract, I'd be delighted to have that happen and transfer the money, if we don't have to have the money in the forest budget, if we put it into another budget. Or if it's better, put in the forest budget and, expend it out of the forest budget. I'm indifferent as far as that goes. It's whatever makes the most sense in terms of the money, both ease of operation as well as management of the town.
yeah. So the other thing is, and we also have our land transfer station, our landfill brush hog annually. Fee, and we put that out with our mowing contract. So if we decide to go that route, when we put the mowing contract out again, I would request that you give Michelle the particulars. But she won't be familiar with that.
Sure.
It might
Absolutely.
make more sense in the long run. To include it as just one, someone might be more apt for the bid. On the whole package, a little less expensive than individual.
Mhm.
I could be wrong.
To me, it makes sense. I mean, if somebody bids on a package, they know they've got all the work, and we only have to administer a relationship with one person for all of the work.
And I was gonna send that out in February, like I was gonna put out an RFP in February.
We'll have decided again, yeah. Okay, I just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, absolutely happy to work with other, what do we call them? Departments, I guess, other departments in the town, and try and get as much efficiency out of it as possible.
Okay. All right, we're a half an hour behind schedule, so I'm gonna say thank you.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
So I'll come back to you as we get any refinements on the estimates, and this is what we've got for
Okay,
now. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you.
good night. Michelle, I'm gonna ask that you put yours off down. Like first, next two in reviews.
I
for the
could send
people
mine
that-
out in a review in a,
Huh?
I can send mine out in an email if you want.
So we have the schoolhouse lease, we talked about that last meeting, about what was going on, getting an update. We didn't particularly vote on it though, so the trust people are here tonight, they want me to come back to you again and get a more definitive answer on that. One of the things we talked about with our funder on Wednesday was that that they would be willing to, go ahead. Willing to pay for the attorney to write up the lease. Well, let me backtrack a minute. I found out that, so the lease is just to lease the building to the trust. I remember there was some confusion about, well, how would the library, that would be another separate lease. At this point, it's just the Wolcott Community Trust is asking the select board to lease the schoolhouse for 99 years so that we can qualify to get the funding to do the brownfield study. We feel that it's to your benefit for us to do the study and to get the building restored. And we would be willing to pay for the attorney to write up that lease rather than the town having to do that. If you so agreed. And I have some. I felt that some board members should come. I shouldn't always be doing all the talking, really. So they're here. Bruce, Tom, Monica, Dolly, Belinda Brady, Mary Grenier, and Belinda are our members.
Hi, Select Board. Hello.
But are you gonna comment on to our select board?
I'd like to comment.
Yeah.
So, the 99-year lease, we've had the discussion with our preservation trust people, and it really legitimizes the effort that we're making, not only for the brownfield study, but also for other initiatives, other loans that we apply for, or not loans, but other grants that we apply for down the line. So what we're hearing from them is that it's really important that we do this because it shows commitment from the town.
I would make just a few points if I could, jot a few notes. It preserves and restores the historic schoolhouse. So it preserves it and it restores it. You're gonna create a public library, you're gonna have training space, meeting space, just all kinds of new town services that weren't there in that building at least. And it leverages the grants, so there's money that will come in to help that out. I went to school there from first grade to fifth grade. A lot of people in town have gone to school there and others that left town, but be a wonderful addition to the town. And I think economically it would foster economic growth in the town as well as picking up business from the rail trail. That's all I had.
So this whole project is estimated at probably $1.3 million. And by being able to have this grant to do the brownfields, to obtain it is just one step closer because funding is getting a little bit harder now to achieve for us to raise all that money, which is hopefully not going to be taxpayer money to restore that building actually for the town's use. So I guess we're asking for a vote to approve that lease.
Any idea what the holding costs would be to the town as far as building maintenance into the future, or what our responsibilities would be to the trust once the building has been restored?
So once the building was restored, we would still be responsible for the insurance and the upkeep and the heat and so forth, because you are leasing us the building. When we get into the discussion of town use with a library being there is a whole nother story, is a whole nother lease that's negotiable at that time.
Linda, when you say we, who
The
is
trust.
the trust is responsible? Because you're paying,
We are asking to lease the building, so once that lease is signed, we would pay for the insurance. It would come off the town. And once the electricity's heat, all that would be on the trust to pay.
So the town wouldn't likely see an increased holding costs once that building becomes used.
Well, once you want to use it, we are going to have to discuss whether you're going to, how are we gonna have money?
Yeah.
To pay those bills? Are we gonna rent you a space for the library to be there? Or are you gonna absorb some of the costs that we had to?
Yeah.
That's the discussion we need to have later down the road.
I would think though, hypothetically anyway, that it would be pretty much just a net zero because we've got library holding costs that would
Yeah.
just kind of carry over to a different roof.
Mhm.
And remember, this is gonna be really energy efficient and, you know. Very
So-
much.
Yeah, I would just add, I think, you may or may not know, but I was, principal in Craftsbury 12 years after I left Wolcott. And, I'm very familiar with the idea of a 99 or 100-year lease because actually in Craftsbury, a board of trustees owns the school and the school district rents it for, or has a lease for 100 years at a time. They're in their second 100-year lease currently, but the school pays all the bills. So, it protects the school from things like Act 46 and that kind of thing, the town can retain. But it's worked very well, was the point. It has not created issues.
Yeah, I do see it as a net positive. I mean, especially if the holding costs are gonna be negligible. Right, the trust is gonna be on the hook for everything building related. I mean, we as a town, taxpayers don't see a direct increase.
Right.
You know, restored building, so.
Yeah, we've got a third space and a restored building. We maintain some of the history. I see it as a net win, really.
To say nothing about it, what it does for the community as a whole.
Right. I'll make your motion for your 99-year lease. Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? I'm gonna abstain.
Did I hear 3 ayes then?
Thank you, Select Board. Thank you very much.
You get three.
you.
I was thinking about it.
Thank you. Tori,
Yeah,
did you have to leave yet?
I should probably go soon, but I can hang
So
around.
Tori's here quickly. We sent out the information on the parking lot, the corrective action plan, the end plan. Tori's can be here quickly to answer any questions. Otherwise she has to meet with the Belvedere Select Board, and then we can have further discussion on this after, but do you have questions on the report for Tori? The only question I had was it kind of gave a date in here when we were gonna start. Was a little confusing to me.
I'm confused. Are you doing, has the board voted on the alternative yet? Is that what we're doing tonight?
No, we already did.
Okay, which alternative?
We voted to I thought we voted on Cory, we voted on the alternative a while ago. And I mean, there's 2 layers of taking gravel off, but I thought we had more alternatives before.
The previous document that
March March, which the alternatives.
Yeah, the ECA, the evaluation of corrective action alternatives was reviewed, and alternative 3, I believe, was what the
Right,
select board had agreed to.
right. Which was taking some soil out and putting the cover on it.
It says excavation of offsite disposal of lead contaminated soils to a depth of 6 feet and the installation of a hardscape cover.
Well, no, it's, yeah,
6
it's,
feet.
it's not
6
6
inch.
feet.
It says 6 feet here, but I
Well-
copied,
6 inches.
I copied and pasted from the report.
That should
And then
be
it's to the
6
tune
feet.
of almost 30,000, like, yeah.
Yeah, that money sounds right.
29.45, yeah.
I can go back and check it, but I copied.
Yeah, I just read it. Yeah, there's a cap. There's two different thicknesses you can take off in this report, but that was the alternative we picked, was removing some soil and capping it.
Yeah, it was only 6 inches.
Yeah,
That's probably a typo also, because 2 paragraphs below it, it does say 6 inches too. Which is good feedback for them.
yeah, alternative 3. Alternative 1 is no action, 2 is excavation offsite disposal of all the soil that's impacted, but we picked number 3. Back in March. And so then they went back and did some more testing, but then this is their final report. So if we have any comments, we need to convey them to Tori and they'll send it back. Cass, the environmental engineers, will put those comments in, and then it needs to be reviewed by the DEC.
Yep.
And then it will be fine. Then you have to have a public hearing for 30 days. 30,
Or yeah, the public comment period.
yeah. So then it goes out for public comment. So the public can comment in after 30 days and then it's final.
Yep.
And in the meantime, before the comments and stuff, could we start negotiations for purchase? During the same time?
Is that a question to me?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
you can.
And we'll let Tori go if no one has any questions for her. If not, we can always email you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging in there.
Welcome. Have a good night.
Yep.
Thank you, Barry.
Do you remember it being that high though, the price?
Yeah, I thought it was like 26.
No,
Yeah.
she was-
What is 26, then they had a contingency,
Oh, there you go.
10%.
I remember it being close.
I was surprised that, the pavement cap was so small. Can you explain to me though, is the pavement just in one little tiny section? Right here in this blue?
Yeah.
Really?
That's how they got it drawn.
So they're only covering what was where the fuel pumps were.
I don't know where the pumps were, but
They were over by
Well, the
the
problem is
post
that
office.
fuel pumps, the problem is lead. Lead is what is the problem, and that's from burning, the
fire.
hotel burning and then that burning, but it's only in one small little section.
which explains why it's only $2,500.
Is that asphalt or concrete?
So asphalt.
Asphalt.
Sorry, it says pavement. I would assume asphalt.
So asphalt in one little section, then it would be on the town to asphalt the whole thing, or would they just cover that over with dirt? I mean, this is gonna be a little off.
Well, it's only, their budget is only 10,000.
That's not very big. It's not bigger than this room.
It's just a little tiny
That's what
section.
I'm saying.
Compared to what they have outlined as the old garage building, it's maybe a third.
22 feet by 7 feet.
Right.
Soil excavation area and impervious cap area.
I'm just saying, can you cover that with dirt just to make it all then a similar surface rather than just keeping an asphalt on, you know?
I don't think so. What's an impervious surface?
Water can't drain through it. But if the water drained through the gravel that was on top of it, it would hit it and then not be able to drain through it.
So that means that you'd have to go down a foot, put it on, and then you'd cover it with 6 inches of gravel.
Well, my dream is that we would get a parking lot grant
The whole thing
and,
would be paid.
and the whole thing would be paid.
Yeah.
Just keeping that, I mean, are we responsible for keeping that from cracking and
Yeah.
breaking?
Yes.
Yes,
We have to include money in the
Yes.
budget for filling the cracks, so we couldn't cover it with. You'd have to be able to.
you yearly, there's a report in here where yearly you have to inspect it
So
and
we
send
would-
it in.
And we would have to fill the cracks, we'd have to have in the budget, the maintenance of that asphalt.
It's gonna be a bugger when we go to plow too.
That's what I was saying, how are they gonna, they'll figure it out.
That would be where they pile the snow.
Sure.
Sit back that was.
No, it's directly in the middle. Right next to the post office. There would be a mountain of snow. Yeah.
It'll be, yeah,
We should, that's what we'll do. We'll put curb around it and then we'll take our new painted planters and put our planters on
there you
top.
go, I'll start working on it.
That's not even the stupidest thing I've said all day.
I'd make a comment to that.
It just is, it's a testament to how low the bar truly is, Kurt.
That's really.
So this long-term monitoring will consist of annual inspections of the engineered and physical barriers as outlined in section 9, corrective action operation management plan.
So that's quite a lot of years.
Submit a picture every year.
Yeah, but still, they're going 99 years.
We have that on our landfill too. I mean,
Like whatever.
we have it every 3 years forever on all these FEMA properties. I mean, we know we'll be hiring an inspector.
Money, money, money.
Yeah, there's always strings attached.
Odd that it ended up in just one spot. I mean, this building, I saw a picture of it. It's like 4 stories and I want to say 50 by 60,
Of what?
the old hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Was it lead paint, do you think? that
Yeah, it's lead painted.
Yeah, and then probably lead from the old gasoline too, right? Leaded gas.
Folks were over by the post office.
Well, this is where the spot is. Did you see it on the map? It's over by
Weird.
the post office.
So that's probably where the pumps were.
So we have no comments then, I take it. At this point,
We still haven't seen purchasing terms, right? That's true.
no, so, well, I wondered if Michelle and I could start reaching out to Champlain and just see where they stood with this.
Did you want me to email Tori in the morning then?
We don't have it, we don't have any comments.
Okay. And she knows, I mean, that was kind of, I didn't know how you left it.
I left it that we would, if we had any, we would email them to her.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where Champlain Oil stands
Yeah.
on it. Guess just keeping in mind that we would likely not only bear the cost of the 30,000 for the remediation, but also we'd
Well-
like to see the whole thing paved.
Well,
So when they come back at 100, we can tell them to sharpen their pencil.
I think.
That was the stupidest thing.
I don't know what I even said. See, he's tired too. It's 8 o'clock. All right, do you want to talk, do your report?
Sure. Okay, I'll bridge it. The town parking lot is dark and it's dangerous at night, that we found this when we did WAP. So, I called the Department of Electric, it would install a street lamp. One of the lots, first one at the end of the lot, as a parking lot across from town hall. They said they would install it for free and it would cost us $8 a month to rent it. So I'm just putting that out there. I contacted MSI to see if they would do the same across the street, because across from Pear's Fish, it's very dark, but there's a pole there. He's looking into that. So just running that by you guys. I don't know if you want to vote on it tonight, I don't know, but I feel like I need a little more information on exactly what pole, but Hardwick Electric went out, replaced a bulb for us across the street, not for us, but because they manage it. And then they said, yes, they could install, there is a pole there and they could install another light. The town hall needs electrical changes. So I'm seeking approval to proceed with those. I did get one bid in for $750 from Gould. I'm waiting for another estimate from a man named Arthur. They're proposing to run a dedicated circuit from the existing panel in the kitchen down to the stage area, down like through the floor and then back up to the stage area. And it would separate two quad outlet banks so that they're on separate circuits instead of one like current is what I've been told. But so yeah. So if one blows, the band can operate on another. And then there's also a light that's kind of hanging there and it's on the back of the stage and it's coming off of the outlet and it's kind of unsafe. So they should want to put in a blank so that they could improve the safety of that particular thing. So Gould said he could do it for $750.
There's money in the building maintenance fund.
There is, if we don't, well, yes and no. So if we don't get if we don't get the snow guard over there, which I'm still trying to get hold of Jamie to put in the snow guard, he keeps kind of putting that off. He thinks he can do the snow guard for 1,000, waiting for it to say it. Get my budget here. And then we still have 6,000 in there for the 6,000 in there for the signs. And Linda and I decided to wait until to advertise for the signs until the spring. But that's not going to be enough to cover the remaining signs. So they just keep adding up.
But then they'll go into the new budget.
Yeah. Double budget. I'm going to budget for new signs. To date, as of September, although I don't have like what it costs to do fire hydrants, I mean the fire extinguishers, they came and did their work. I think we have, I would just have to look because you like to keep a little bit of money in there for uncertainty. So if we spent, I don't even know, because I've been told by two different things that that would come out of capital funds because it's an improvement on a building.
No, who told you that? No, it has to be like over $5,000-$10,000, like piddle it for capital stuff.
Okay.
And so like when you do an audit, you know, they don't even look at any assets of yours if it's over like 8,000 or something, you know, it's just. No, that fund is not for piddling stuff away. It's more for like an invoice or new truck.
So, and we have the town column replacement, so the insurance came back and, so after I filed the claim and we had $1,000 deductible, we're gonna receive $1,125 to replace both columns. They didn't seem to have a problem with replacing both columns. They gave us that full amount. So the 1925 that Parity bid to replace both columns, plus the $200 for temporary repair, puts us at getting the entire repair is going to cost $1,000. So that's got to come out of some fund as well.
Some fund? We only have one fund.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
One fund.
So we get, I think, fewer signs in this year. I mean, just already, we're gonna have to do fewer signs. Anyway,
A lot of work out fine anyway. I mean, by the time the ground is soft, you'll only have 2 months left in the fiscal year. Anyway.
Yeah.
we'll do with whatever we have left. Michael mentioned he wanted to donate the $200 back. I don't know how to do that for the temporary repair.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure where the best place to put that, the picnic or donate it to WAC or whatever, but the temporary post, Michelle needed an invoice for insurance, but I had a 6x6 laying around and it took me 10 minutes to do, so I'd like to give
Why
that
don't
money
you
back.
take it home?
Like the money?
No, the post, when you buy the post?
No, I had the post at the house.
Oh,
It was lumber I had laying around, so. I don't have any money out of pocket. I don't feel right taking the money. So don't issue me a check and I'll void the invoice, or if the board has a feeling about where it could be donated, I would love to
sounds
donate.
like the building maintenance fund.
There we go. So just don't write me a check and we'll donate it back to the,
It'll just,
So we just reduce, we'll just do the other.
I'll send you a voided or a paid or whatever, a credit one.
I don't know how that does with the audit. That's why I was a little concerned. I don't know how that's gonna work. I'll think about it when I can think more clearly.
you're gonna get a check from the insurance.
Yep. But I
And
just don't know how deeply they dig in an audit to say, okay, where's this other $200? Did you pay it? Because I submitted an invoice.
Then issue me a check and I'll make a donation.
And that's, thank you. That's just what I needed, and I needed to hear that we could do that. Fidium Fiber, we have a contract with Fidium for the town office. They should be there tomorrow. Dolan and I are gonna meet them at town hall again tomorrow because last time they didn't have what they needed. So we rescheduled. We are awaiting contracts for the garage and the library. Oh, we just signed the contract for the library. And then I'm awaiting the installation date for the town hall, the town office and the library. And I'm still waiting for the contract for the garage. And so I asked more about the voice over IP. What you get charged for is like $30 per line per month for the professional seat, which is the voice over IP phone line, which includes voicemail, caller ID, call forwarding, and standard phone features. And then for $5 a month, you pay for the gateway. And it's a small analog terminal adapter provided so that the existing analog handset can work with the voiceover, because you had wanted to know if the phones would work with the voiceover. It essentially bridges the internet-based phone line to the current phone hardware. And the traditional POTS copper line is fully analog, and it works off the internal phone cabling in the building. You just plug the phone into the wall jack that they provide and it works miraculously. And then with the voice over IP service, we can still use the existing phone wiring and the handset. It comes over the internet connection, and they install the modem and the gateway, the analog adapter. So that's that. You can use our phones. I met with both Nikki and I met with the Hyde Park, Morristown, Cambridge, and Johnson to discuss the interlocal kennel agreement. Hyde Park wants to build a shelter on local government land because they want to avoid giving development funds to a private entity again, like they did with Lamoille County Kennels. They are looking at installing a prefab unit on Hyde Park land. The prefab unit costs $60,000. But Nikki and I inquired about the other costs like foundation and wiring and electrical and water. And they said electrical would only cost a couple $100, but they didn't consider the foundation. They said, well, we'll throw down a gravel. And I'm like, I don't think you're going to put with water animals on a gravel surface and expect a $60,000 building to really survive, but he's going to look into that. And then we discussed Nikki, and they asked for more information about her options to set up a kennel on the LaRiche farm. So she's providing that information. I also asked if they purchased a building, if they would be able to finance it, the cost over 5 years, so that the towns, because we can't offer a $10,000 over and above whatever. And so is going to look into a loan for that. And then we all sign contracts that kind of commit to that. If Nikki were to do something like that, we suggested maybe signing like a 10-year contract so that she wouldn't be putting all of her own money into a facility that we're then going to back out of. So those were the initial discussions. Still a lot of work that has to happen. I told them that we just want to keep the costs at maximum $5,000 a year and absolutely eliminate the extra $2,000 to $3,000, animal housing fee. So I'd like to keep it even less. I told Nikki if they can't work something out over there, that maybe we'll just work the town of Wolcott. We'll just look into maybe bring Elmore or Hyde Park into an agreement and work with LaRiche. FEMA 24, I drafted a letter to FEMA to ask them to amend the work to be completed project, because they're asking us to remember to build prefab concrete walls and for a 24-foot culvert. It just doesn't make sense, the requirements. I'm meeting with Grace, and Grace is leaving, Grace Fennelly, our state contact. So I'm meeting with her and the new person, Lisa, tomorrow to kind of go over that draft letter. We're still waiting for the work to be completed project to be approved and obligated. There's a possible after the 75% to get 219,000, almost 220,000 from FEMA, plus another 12% from the state. But that's just still out there in the hazard mitigation land. The highways has been doing, they met with Viking for the pre-build discussion for the body. The body still hasn't arrived yet, but the truck is in the queue, and once the body arrives, they're gonna crank that out. They've been plowing a lot. We scoped out sites for the grant and aid 2027 money. They're giving us $20,000. So we're thinking about putting it up on Sand Hill, that slope. We were gonna meet with Alec, but he decided that it would be better to do it in the spring because it was snowing by the time we have our date set to. And then they began their winter hours in November, so they're working Monday to Friday, 6 to 2, except when they come in at 2 a.m. and then they work.
On Sand Hill where the colony is currently at the washout, that slope.
Yes,
Nice.
yeah, and then we would put guardrails and everything up there.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, it started with Linda saying, let's put some guardrails up there, but then it kind of evolved into what do we attach them to, and do we need to do the work first? That's all I have.
It's scary, doesn't it, just fall off there?
Oh, yeah, it drops right off to nothing, but if you start on the other lane and hope nobody's coming up the hill, it's fine.
The truck that was the school bus that just stopped and couldn't get going.
Yeah, stuck in Dan's driveway for 40 minutes, and then just below that, one of the neighbors up the hill, he tried coming up the hill and couldn't, and he actually backed and was kind of, not, he wasn't on the high part, but he was backed kind of off the edge on the bank side. He looked kind of nervous when I went by him, but it was a fun short ride.
There was one thing I mentioned to Dylan tonight before the meeting was you need to cut the brush back at the foot of School Road. Because when you get to the stop sign, the brush stops you from seeing up the road. You have to edge out. Make sure no one's coming down. So he said
mentioned it to him already. Okay.
he said he would try to do it sometime this week.
Thank you, Michelle. Set? We have here, the dog licensing town surcharge. Is Belinda gonna be with us or no?
You had said you can.
Oh, I had an idea.
Oh,
But I don't have everything with me. I guess, the statute says you have to have a local rabies program if you add additional fees onto dog licenses, which we have for at least 20 years, if not more. I don't know if this is a new law or what. It must have popped
it
up.
is new, or they're enforcing it, yeah.
Well, I think we do have our local rabies control program because we have our annual clinic.
I would say that would qualify, wouldn't it?
I do.
Yeah, it's low cost. I mean, it's, yeah.
$5 to get the shot.
Right, so we have one. Until they say otherwise.
Are those charged on the dog licenses?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can't remember what they are exactly, but it's like an additional, between $2 and $4.
I think it's nominal up to 5 maybe.
I don't even think it's 5 that much. It was to help cover for boarding fees. That's what we need additional fees for. And I also suggested that you reach out to our state representative and tell them to change the law. I will if I remember.
There's a whole lot going on that. If I'm still trying to get it's a letter that I drafted back from Aliana Gerhard. Just asking the state to make a lot of changes, and we're going to submit it to the legislature. And I drafted a letter. I haven't heard back from her to see if she approved, if I hit all the points. But
So you can't, you have to, is she gonna submit it to somebody?
Well, she was asking the select board to talk to our legislators.
Yeah, because they're the only ones that can put anything in. I didn't know who you were gonna have do it, or if she had a, um, lobbying group that would do it or what.
No, she's trying to get a couple of things pushed through for funding, but, because the governor did give that, to a director or deputy of, one person the more authority to go out and monitor animals.
Mhm.
But she said that they didn't really fund the position with the adequate funding they needed to support it. If I recall, so. I think I'm starting to, that makes sense.
Okay, so I mean, that's my opinion. If you agree, that we're set. You already did the streetlights. Are you asking for a vote on that, or do you want to come back with it?
I feel like honestly, the more I looked at the lights and I want to see what MSI is going to be able to do first, so that we don't commit ourselves if we don't need to. So I think I'd like to table that and come back to it. If you don't mind.
And what about the electrical changes to the stage?
Well, if we don't know how to pay for them, I mean.
I do,
Okay,
building fund. I thought we already had that discussion.
Just less signs, right? Wasn't that the answer?
Yeah, and then you would have less signs.
thank you.
It's probably safer though. It's probably not a good idea anyway to have, there's a lot of old wiring in there. A couple of years ago, I had them do that stuff on the bottom. Because there's nothing in there.
When they built it, they didn't think about electricity.
Who knows if it was the old knob and wire?
Yeah,
I still have to wait for Arthur to get me his bid and then I will
okay.
figure out. So I don't need a vote on that because it's $750 really, but I think do I need a vote?
I wouldn't think so.
Mhm. So the next one is increase E911 cost to property owners. We talked about this at our last meeting to bring it up. I guess we are not collecting enough money to offset the cost of someone getting a new sign and post and installing it.
So I upgraded, we went from 25 to 35 about 6 months ago because that now covers the cost of the sign and the post and the hardware. But we don't have anybody to sync these. And so if we're gonna have someone on call to be installing them, I'd like to do at least 15 a sign because that could be. So I don't have to keep revisiting this topic, at least it carries this for a year. So $50 to get an E911 sign, unless maybe they want the option of installing it themselves. But I've heard multiple people say that's not a good idea because they don't put it in the right place.
They could not put it in the right place. They could put it in their garage and forget to put it up, that's a blah, 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 I don't think it's a good idea. Personally.
So there is an issue with the 911 signs in that the post is kind of not tall enough because there are obstructions and then there's snow. That's something to think about, at least when they're placing them. Some of them are just not showing up.
They're standard 6-foot posts.
So what they're though is if someone's plowing at the end of their driveway, you've got to look where you have the smarts when you put it in, not to put it where that person is plowing all their snow or in the way or something with it, or it's so where the road is. You have to think about where it is. I mean, that happened on West Hill. Someone called me because where they put the sign was right where the guy deposited all the snow at the end of the drive. Same as mine. We moved ours. at the end of my road.
In fairness, you're not gonna know where someone's gonna plow and put the
Yeah.
snow. You know. But, I mean, you can put it on either side, but I mean, it's like, it's their preference whether they push it this way or push it, you know what I mean?
But the whole point of the 911 signs is if an ambulance or police or have to come to the house or the fire department, they need to be able to see that sign. That should not be a negotiable.
But Monica, the standard size, recommended size for every town is 6 feet, the post.
I understand, but I also understand from the perspective of a wife who is an EMT and gets on those ambulances and goes around.
The thing is you got a 6 foot post, but you gotta push it in 2 foot, keep it stable, so now it's only 4 foot.
I'm just saying, these are the
Yeah, I know.
recommended specs, and if we want to increase the size of the post, we have to increase the size of the cost of the sign.
Right.
And that would put us out of compliance with the MUTCD. We've got to follow that. I mean, we have a pledge on the website that one of our policies, we're going to follow that little sign guidebook. I mean, at some point, some of the onus is going to have to be on homeowners to make sure those signs are clear.
Just like fire hydrants, you gotta keep them clear.
They should have some buy-in on where they go, I believe.
You have to clear your mailbox and you have to keep it clear.
Right. These EU 911s, these are a townwide requirement. So at the end of this project, every building will have one, and that's a requirement.
It's not a requirement to have a sign, it's a requirement that any building has a number.
Okay.
And it's a requirement that people should post that.
Okay.
Not at their end, but this was done with ARPA money because we had received numerous requests from people that we needed them, like Meals on Wheels had a hard time delivering meals, you know. So when we first got our money, this is one of the projects we decided to work on.
Maybe that's just something that could be mentioned in the town report, that and the clearing your mailboxes, and maybe just something that simple to let everybody, know the purpose and the importance.
You're gonna say we don't have them.
What?
Half the people are gonna say we don't even have them.
Yeah, but they're on the way.
Lost.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Purple. Okay, why don't we make a motion to increase the cost for any 911 sign? And to request a E911 address, which includes a sign and its installation from $35 to $50.
Wait, I'm sorry, to request a sign, what?
Yeah. If someone requests an E911 address, the cost is now $50, which will include also the sign and installation.
So does that? Yeah, catching me up, because I wasn't here when you guys designed the program. The money was set aside for a certain number of signs. So at a certain date, we had enough signs for all of the addresses. So this is a $50 fee for people who are applying for building permits.
Yeah, not necessarily, yeah, it is. So there was a fee of $25. And in the past, in the very beginning, before we even had signs, back when Arlo was here, the listers would, it was a $25 fee, and that would be paid to the listers in their salary for going out and mapping it. And assigning and doing the paperwork. So they would get the additional $25 in there. But then another select board just said, oh, the listers are gonna do it, and it's absorbed into their regular duties. And then, I mean, the state now the listers do not go out and, assign the numbers. The E911 board assigns the numbers, but the listers have a lot of paperwork to do.
I was only asking because would this be better suited to be a contingency of building permits? If someone is going to put a building that is going to be used as a residence or otherwise falls under these E911 things, should this $50 be folded into that building permit process?
No, I think it's too confusing because there's actually a form they have to fill out.
Wait, it's already, the 35 is already on the building permit process?
It is.
No,
Okay.
this is a separate form they fill out for an E911 request.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and it should stay that way. But they can't get electricity until they have an E911 sign
So it is
number.
tied in
Yeah.
one way or another. Okay.
Or they can't get a bank loan or whatever. There's ways that they.
Okay.
If they don't want electricity, maybe they don't get one. I don't know.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was being tied to the building so that in 5 years, we don't have a bunch of development that doesn't have E911 that we're somehow going to be on the hook for.
No, they get quite a few requests, but it takes the state a very long, they're really behind, so it takes a while. You don't just get it. They have to go out and measure, and then it takes the state quite a while. Come back and actually assign a number. So that could take months before it actually gets ordered.
Okay.
I have motion by Martin that the E911 sign requests will cost $50 to include the sign, post, hardware, and installation. So,
An address, yeah. You could have, I think it'd be good though, on a building permit to have a checklist. You know, where you check off, you know, do you have this permit and this, you know?
yeah, what came up when I recommended, something came up the other day and nobody really knew that they needed to, I can't remember. I brought it up to Tom and Sam. I don't remember now.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Just asking your permission again to move forward with the Christmas gifts that we've done in the past for employees. Okay, lower the speed limit. You're up.
I had a discussion with Roger Marcoux. That's how you say his name. This is French Canadian. He said that the state's attorney will not touch anything until it's at least 45 to 50 or more. Because they can argue the radar is off or the odometer speeding, whatever is off. So unless we lower the speed limit on 15 to 25 to keep them within reason, and they're just going to keep whizzing down through at 45, 50 miles an hour. All he needs is our agreement that we will do that, and then he will go and try to get the legislation to have it down, lowered. But he needs our approval.
Any thoughts?
One of us has a fundamental misunderstanding on how speed limits are set. Roger can make the request, but I'm pretty sure step one is getting a traffic study. I looked up the traffic studies. The most recent one I can find is from 2020. I don't think that is recent enough to support that. So we may want to reach out to LCPC and see if there's funding available for a traffic study Because legislature is gonna need that information in order to.
Well, he's saying if we make the agreement to have it lowered, then he'll make sure all this action is being done.
I see.
But if we don't think it needs to be lowered, then there's no sense in going through the actions. He said it would be a 2-year process. The problem is, and I don't know if you have even tried to pull out of the driveways across from School Street.
Yeah.
Or even my house.
Remember the day I had to back out of yours? Yeah, I remember, Kirk.
Electrical trucks almost hit the dust. It's absurd. I mean, anyone can come and sit in this town if you dare to at 5 a.m. They're doing 45, 50. Summer, it's even worse.
Kurt, I didn't quite understand. You said Marcoux says that the state's attorney won't touch any speeding ticket unless it
They will
exceeds
not.
40.
They will not even consider prosecuting anything that's around a 40 mph because they can say it and argue it. That it's
So 40 miles over the speed limit?
No, it'd be 5 miles over the speed limit.
if it's not at least 10 miles over the speed limit,
Okay.
they're not even going to take it to court. They're not even going to try to get the funds or
It's even
whatever.
like that on the interstate and stuff. You know that you can drive, but.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
7 to 10 miles an hour is
Yeah.
usually the gray zone.
Right.
But lowering it to this 25 now will make them at least stay to the 35, maybe 40, not doing 50, 60.
Hey, Kurt, just a thought. If the goal is to slow people down. And it's gonna take 2 years to do a study, go through the legislature, state AOT, if they even go for it. Have you considered something more like, the electronic speed signs?
No effect.
I feel like there's a lot of studies that suggest that they do have an effect. Of course, it's not gonna stop everybody, but
No.
neither will lowering the speed limit.
No, but the thing is the ones they do catch doing the 40, at least they'll get prosecuted.
Is that your motivation though? Is to prosecute people or is?
No, it's to get it enforced so at least, how many people do you want to see killed? That's the
People have
problem.
been killed.
The
Well, I mean,
speed
not
study
yet.
from 2020 says there was 2 crashes between, where was I just reading this? From 2015 to 2019, there were 2 crashes and they don't believe the speed was a factor in either. But this is for a section. They did the section from Grimes's Pit to East Hill. But that was the final report was January 21st, 21. So that
Yeah,
must have
Kurt, I don't disagree that people fly.
My problem is, and I've stated it 100 times, you go to Hardwick, it's 25. You go to Morrisville, it's 25. You go to Hunter Johnson, it's 25.
So, yeah,
Why are we
right.
having this outrageous speed limit in our village?
They're not gonna do it.
Outrageous 35?
Yes, but they can do 40 and not get a ticket. You have to be over that 10 mph speed where they'll at least take them to court. I have it, the theory is, yes, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna have the speeders. I don't care. But if you can take and say, now we can really do something.
What can they do though? They just give you a ticket.
Well, after so many tickets, you lose your license. The insurance companies are gonna drop you.
So,
Yeah, you get points.
but initially, yeah, you get a ticket. But they're not gonna take you to court for the ticket. You pay the ticket or you go to court.
It still goes onto your licenses of, it's 2 to 3 points. But
Yeah.
once you get to 6 points, you lose your license for 6 months.
I just didn't understand
It's
to take
10
you to
points.
court. I didn't understand that. You said that the state's attorney will not touch any speeding ticket unless it exceeds 10 miles over the limit. but the state attorney is not gonna get involved unless you don't pay your ticket or you get mulcted.
No, the state's attorney will not take it to court unless you're 10 plus over the speed limit.
So if you pay, they're pleading guilty,
Right.
so.
So it's an automatic. He doesn't have to take it.
So
But there's someone, if they get picked up for doing 38,
and then they contest it.
they can contest it.
He's not gonna bother. That's what he's.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we recommend to, state of Vermont, AOT, that they reduce the speed limit to 25 miles per hour through the village.
Just in the village,
Yes.
In our land use map, we have a village marked out where that is. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Opposed, Michael.
Michael's.
Well, I will call Roger and start a thinking motion.
What was 35?
Yeah, there's a whole pile of tables and data and things, and right now we don't have development in town to support it. The state's gonna shoot it down. As soon as we,
Give us the crosswalk.
yeah, as soon as we get a little bit more development and there's a little bit more pedestrian activity like there is in Morrisville, Snow Hardwick, Danville, all these other places. And they'll entertain our 25 miles an hour. Until then, our only recourse to slow people down is gonna be other traffic calming stuff like barricades, barrels, flashing signs.
Woman driving.
You know, that's a fantastic graphic.
I do that. Purpose.
I've been behind you.
Let me make this one thing. Let's adjourn, please.
Second.
Yes, I have done that to several people, and you wouldn't believe how many times I get yelled at and flipped off.
Yeah.